Nicaragua is a beautiful town. You buy a hacienda for a few pesos down. You give it to the lady you are trying to win. But her papa doesn't let you come in. Managua, Nicaragua is a heavenly place. You ask a senorita for a lethal embrace. She answers you caramba, scramba, bomberito. In Managua, Nicaragua, that's no.
Managua is not one of those cities you absolutely have to see. However, once you've visited all the recommended places in Nicaragua, you're left with Managua, mainly known for hosting the Augusto Cesar Sandino International Airport. The airport is named after the Nicaraguan revolutionary who led an uprising against the American occupation of Nicaragua between 1927 and 1933.
Japan Park Nicaragua is a Japanese-style city park located in the Los Robles neighborhood in Managua. This Japanese park is considered the best park in Central America for its style, design, and safety. Two very distant cultures come together in one place. Very soon, thousands of bamboo trees will be planted in Managua, in the area around Tizcapa Lagoon. They will be brought mainly from Japan. This will create a giant bamboo park in Latin America. These admirable intentions are certainly praiseworthy. However, one cannot help but notice the current state, where all the Japanese ponds in the park, at least in terms of water, are completely empty. Why is that, one wonders?
I have been to many tropic ports. I might include even Brooklyn. If you're ever feeling out of sorts, I'd like to recommend a look in Managua, Nicaragua. What a wonderful spot. There's coffee and bananas and the temperature hot. So take a trip and on a ship go sailing away across the agua to Managua, Nicaragua. Ole, ole, ole. Across the agua to Managua, Nicaragua. Ole.
I found accommodation in Managua through Airbnb, staying in a private home. It was interesting to see how people live here. I chose a place within walking distance of the Japanese garden, and that's exactly where I headed first.
Another place within walking distance of my accommodation was the Metropolitan Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception of the Virgin Mary. The cathedral was built in 1991 and is referred to as the New One. It was constructed to replace the old Cathedral of St. James, which is located in the northern part of the historic center. The new cathedral is the largest Catholic cathedral in Managua.
The cathedral was designed by Mexican architect Ricardo Legorreta and co-financed by American Tom Monahan from the profits of his successful pizzerias. It is an impressive building with grand entrances and stained glass windows. Inside, you'll find beautiful statues and frescoes that reflect the rich history of the cathedral. I walked back and forth through the cathedral, waiting for the Sunday Mass to end in the adjacent nave.
Al sonar de la marimba se desborda Monimbo. Hay que ver bailar en cinta la mujer del mandador. Don Rodrigo está tanteando como le hace por detrás. Zapateando, zapateando, zapatea y nada más. Hay que ver a doña Inés a bailar como zapatea a la vez que hace la cadera temblar. Hoy el consejo que le dan al compadre Juan para bailar, hacerte para allá no te vengas, no, para mi contado parece un gallo remojado pegadito, ponche nada más, meneadito, ponche nada más, cuidadito, cuando me tocas. La mujer que se cree viva y no baila en el solar es como un plato de almíbar que no sale a veranear. A bailar el sabaneado no es preciso alborotar. Yo lo bailo bien pegado y un meneado lateral. Hay que ver a doña Inés a bailar como zapatea a la vez que hace la cadera temblar. Fue el consejo que le dan algo para igual para bailar, hacerte para allá no te vengas, no, para rebocado pareces un gallo remojado pegadito, ponche nada más, pegadito, ponche nada más, cuidadito, cuando me tocas. Zapatero, zapatero. Si me tocan dos bolillos o si quiere el garañón, voy a enseñarles al dedillo lo que baila Monimbo. Aquí no hay chochera floja ni flojera sin torcer. Pa' bailar me basta una hoja o en la punta de un ciprés. Hay que ver a donde Inés pa' bailar como zapatea a la vez que hace la cadera temblar. Por el consejo que le dan algo para igual para bailar, hacerte para allá no te vengas, no, para rebocado pareces un gallo remojado pegadito, ponche nada más, pegadito, ponche nada más, cuidadito, cuando me tocas. Al sonar de la marimba se desborda Monimbo.
From the cathedral, I set out along Avenida Colón with the goal of visiting the Tizcapa Lagoon. However, there's only one inconspicuous turnoff leading to the lagoon, and I missed it. Instead, I ended up at the Monumental Tribune, which I chose to photograph from a distance, as it was behind a fence. A soldier with a rifle was standing guard. The sign indicating it was a property of the Ministry of the Interior made me approach the situation with caution and respect. And then came the decorations that you simply can't miss in Managua. Starting from the Hugo Chavez roundabout and continuing toward the city center, it's impossible not to notice the giant metal displays depicting the former president of Venezuela, who supported the Nicaraguan Sandinista revolution. Chavez shared the ideology of socialism and anti-imperialism, which is why he supported the Sandinistas both financially and politically.
After this political lesson, I found a botanical garden, an arboretum, on Avenida Bolivar. The shade was especially refreshing, as was the opportunity to use a public restroom. Work was underway in the garden, and there was still much to be done to complete its landscaping.
The Centro Histórico Sur does not represent a collection of period architecture. Here you will find the Luis Alfonso Velázquez Park. Luis Alfonso Velázquez Flores, born on July 31, 1969, in Managua, was a young participant in the Sandinista Revolution. Luis contributed to the revolutionary cause by acting as a courier for the guerrilla forces, crafting contact bombs, collecting funds, and engaging in surveillance activities. On May 2, 1979, while carrying out his duties, he was ambushed by the Somoza National Guard. He was shot and run over during the attack. His death at the age of 9 made him a symbol of youthful bravery and sacrifice in Nicaragua. In his honor, the Luis Alfonso Velázquez Flores Park was established in Managua, serving as a recreational space and a tribute to his legacy.
The old cathedral in Managua, known as the Catedral de Santiago, was designed by Belgian architects. Its neoclassical design was reportedly inspired by the appearance of the Saint Sulpice Church in Paris, France. Construction began in 1928 and lasted until 1938. Entry into the cathedral is not permitted due to the danger posed by falling bricks and other building materials. I briefly took photos of the cathedral from the outside and thought about how it might have looked before the earthquake.
Quiero bailar, oh linda chinandegana, contigo quiero bailar. Vení, dame tu cintura, vení, vamos a gozar, vamos a bailar, vamos a gozar.
La cumbia chinandegana,
vamos a bailar, vamos a gozar.
La cumbia chinandegana,
muchachas chinandeganas, vengan todas a gozar. Muchachas chinandeganas, vengan todas a bailar. Esta cumbia tan caliente, con su ritmo tropical, vamos a bailar, vamos a gozar. Vamos a bailar, vamos a gozar.
The National Palace of Culture is one of the oldest buildings in Managua. The Palace of Culture is home to Nicaragua's National Museum and the National Art Gallery. It features artists such as Arnold Belkin, Armando Morales, and Leoncio Saenz. The Nicaraguan Cultural Institute is also housed in the same building.
Contigo quiero bailar, oh linda chinandegana, contigo quiero bailar. Vení, dame tu cintura, vení, vamos a gozar, vamos a bailar, vamos a gozar.
la cumbia chinandegana,
Vamos a bailar, vamos a gozar.
la cumbia chinandegana,
Muchachas chinandeganas, vengan todas a bailar. Muchachas chinandeganas, vengan todas a bailar. Esta cumbia tan caliente, con su ritmo tropical, vamos a bailar, vamos a gozar.
la
a bailar, vamos a cantar.
La cumbia chilanderana.
The Trees of Life, Los Árboles de la Vida, are metal public art installations located in various places around Managua. Since 2013, they have commemorated the anniversary of the Sandinista Revolution. The Trees of Life, also called Queopolos, after Rosario, Cheo, Murillo, or Arbotes, represent a beautification project for the city of Managua. This project was sponsored by Nicaragua's First Lady Rosario Murillo, who has also served as the country's vice president since 2017.
The obelisk at Plaza de la Fe Juan Pablo II commemorates and honors the visits of His Holiness Pope John Paul II to Nicaragua on March 4, 1983, and February 7, 1996. The construction of this historic monument was carried out by the municipal administration of the mayor of Managua. The obelisk was designed between 1997 and 2001 by engineer Roberto Cedino Borgan and was supported by Vice President and Mayor Lita Sanchez de Parleos. When it comes to food, what you see in the pictures is indeed what I not only ordered but also ate. However, the portion of soup contained everything that had originally gone into making the broth. I'm not sure if the locals are actually able to eat all of that. What you see on the final plate is what my mouth determined to be inedible. At the end, I decided that I simply had to visit Laguna de Tizcapa, no matter what. And I succeeded. On a Saturday afternoon, I expected to find people enjoying their well-earned rest after a week of work. After all, it's a patch of nature in the middle of the city. But I was wrong. I was completely alone. I sat down by the shore and dipped my feet into the water. That caught the attention of some local turtles, one of which bit my toe. Then a local ranger appeared and asked me for $1 as an entrance fee to the lagoon.
This is a line of people waiting for medical treatment on a Saturday afternoon. You can find the Leon bus opposite the university. You'll recognize it not only by the sign on the vehicle but also by how loudly the bus driver calls out to passengers. It seemed to me like he was yodeling. Once the bus is full, it departs. I left for Leon the next morning. But more about that in the next and final part of my journey through Nicaragua.
Managua, Nicaragua is a beautiful town. You buy a hacienda for a few pesos down. You give it to the lady you are trying to win, but her papa doesn't let you come in. Managua, Nicaragua is a heavenly place. You ask a senorita for a little embrace. She answers you caramba, scramba, bomberito. In Managua, Nicaragua, that's no.
Every day is made for playing fun, 'cause every day is fiesta. And they work from 12 o'clock to 1, minus an hour for siesta.
Managua, Nicaragua, what a wonderful spot. There's coffee and bananas and the temperature hot. So take a trip and on a ship go sailing away across the agua to Managua, Nicaragua. Ole, ole, ole. Across the agua to Managua, Nicaragua. Ole.